Police in Colorado say they have found two bodies they believe are the daughters of Christopher and Shanann Watts. Christopher Watts reportedly confessed Thursday to killing his pregnant wife and two daughters.
In a cruel twist of fate, Shanann Watts found herself caught in a chilling nightmare that shattered her once ideal life. A devoted mother pregnant with her third child and a family that had overcome financial hardships. Little did she know that her husband would transform into the most infamous and haunting modern-day serial killer. Join us as we delve into the harrowing story of Shanann Watts, a tale of love, betrayal, and a descent into darkness that defies comprehension. The summer of 2018 was supposed to be a joyful time for the Watts family. Chris Watts, 33 years old, and his wife Shanann, 34 years old, were excited to learn that they were expecting a baby boy to join their two daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, in their suburban home in Frederick, Colorado, just outside of Denver. While Chris worked as an operator at Anadarko Petroleum and Shanann traveled frequently for her job at a nutrition supplement company called Lavelle, their focus was on their daughters. Shanann often shared their family moments on Facebook, giving the impression of a happy suburban life. However, behind the scenes, Shanann's friends began hearing about troubles in their relationship. Little did anyone suspect the horrifying and brutal murders that were about to shatter their seemingly perfect life. Here's how it all unfolded. Everything began way back in 2010. Chris sent Shanann a friend request on Facebook, despite her being from Passaic, New Jersey, and him residing in North Carolina at the time. Shanann accepted the request, thinking she would never meet him. Their connection grew over time, leading to a relationship. They eventually moved to Colorado and had 2 children together, making Chris the best thing that ever happened to Shanann, as she shares in a later Facebook video.
Bella, say hi. Bella, say hi.
Then on November 3rd, 2012, Shanann and Chris got married in Charlotte, North Carolina. A year later, their first child, a daughter named Bella Marie Watts, was born in Colorado on December 17, 2013. Shanann was overjoyed and grateful for this precious gift from God, treasuring every moment with her. Not long after, 2 years after their first daughter, on July 17, 2015, Shanann and Chris welcomed their second daughter, Celeste Catherine Watts, affectionately called Cece. She was born during the summer in Colorado. Shanann's battle with lupus makes the arrival of another child particularly meaningful, as she had been determined to stay healthy. Every moment spent with Celeste is cherished as a blessing, according to their family obituary. In June 2015, the couple faces financial difficulties and files for bankruptcy. Their combined income of $90,000 in 2014, along with credit card debt, student loans, and medical bills, led them to take this step. Their monthly expenses of $4,900, mostly allocated to their $3,000 mortgage and $600 car payments, put a strain on their finances. Furthermore, they faced legal action from their homeowners association due to unpaid fees. On May 5, 2018, Shanann shared a heartwarming Facebook Live video. Lasting over 31 minutes, she reflected on family life and expresses her joy in waking up on Saturdays and spending time with her loved ones. She talked about the upcoming summer in Colorado and shared her belief in the purpose behind life's events and the significance of the people we encounter. In the video, Chris can be seen playing with their daughters, creating happy moments together. 3 years after their second daughter, on June 11, 2018, Shanann surprised Chris with the news of their pregnancy in a video that was later released. Wearing a shirt that read, "Oops, we did it again," she shared the joyful announcement with him. Chris reacted positively, saying, "That's awesome." Then 6 days later, on Father's Day, Shanann posted a heartfelt message to Chris on Facebook. She expressed immense gratitude for his constant care and support, acknowledging the many things he did for their family, from handling laundry to looking after the kids. She credited him as the reason she felt brave enough to agree to have a third child. The message concludes by wishing Chris a happy Father's Day and emphasizing their luck in having him in their lives. But little did she know that the luck will run out soon enough. In June 2018, Chris began conversing with Nicole Kessinger, who works in the environmental department of Anadarko Petroleum, where Chris was an operator. They would often encounter each other while getting refreshments from the office fridge. Their initial conversation led to a meeting outside of the office later in the same month. But shortly after, in July, according to the Denver Post, Chris began a physical relationship with Kessinger. They saw each other about 4 or 5 times a week, and their involvement became intimate early in the month. Chris informed Kessinger that he is almost divorced, and later, when Shanann and their daughters are out of town, he told Kessinger that the divorce is finalized. As reported by Insider, their interactions progressed rapidly. They had their first meeting at Chris's home on July 4th, followed by their first recorded phone call on July 7th. They went on a date to the Shelby American Collection Car Museum on July 14th and spent a night together at Great Sand Dunes National Park on July 28th, all while Chris's family is away. On July 30th, Chris gave Kessinger a love note before he went to reunite with his family for their vacation. 3 days later, Chris went to North Carolina to join his family for their vacation. Texts forwarded by Shanann to a friend indicated tension and trouble in their relationship, including issues with Chris's parents. Next month, just weeks after starting their relationship, Kessinger spent 2 hours browsing online for wedding dresses, as revealed by her cell phone data. This indicates that Chris might have manipulated her into believing that he would marry her. On July 9th, Shanann departed on a business trip to Arizona after confiding in friends about her difficulties with Chris. She texted a friend before leaving, mentioning that she and Chris had their best talk yet. She even wrote a handwritten letter to him, expressing her thoughts and feelings. 3 days later, while Shanann is out of town, Chris hired a babysitter, claiming that he's going to a baseball game with his co-workers. However, instead of attending the game, he went to a bar with Kessinger. In the early hours the same day, around 1:48 a.m., Shanann returned from her business trip. Her friend Nicole Atkinson gave her a ride back home to their residence on the 2800 block of Saratoga Trail. That morning, Chris woke up Shanann while he was getting ready for work and wanted to discuss their marriage and future. In his later confession, he revealed that he disclosed his affair to Shanann and expressed his belief that their marriage was not going to last. In response, Shanann made a statement saying that Chris would not see their children again. This led to a heated confrontation, and in a moment of rage, Chris strangled Shanann to death. Their 4-year-old daughter Bella entered the room and asked what was happening to her mom. Chris wrapped Shanann's lifeless body in a blanket and placed her in his truck. He then put the 2 kids in the back seat and drove to his work site. Once there, Chris smothered Celeste in the back seat and disposed of her body in an oil tank. He repeated the same horrifying act with Bella, placing her body in another tank. Chris also buried his wife's body nearby, as he later admitted while in prison. The next day at around 1:40 p.m., Atkinson, a friend of Shanann's, became worried when she doesn't receive any response from her. Concerned about her well-being, Atkinson tried calling and texting Shanann multiple times. She knew that Shanann had a doctor's appointment that morning because she was pregnant, but Shanann didn't show up for it. Growing increasingly alarmed, Atkinson contacted the local police to report Shanann missing.
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
Right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls.
During the welfare check conducted by the police, Shanann's phone, keys, and purse were found at her house. Chris, Shanann's husband, told the news stations that she mentioned going to a friend's house with the kids, but beyond that, he has no further information. His statement was vague and raised suspicion.
I want them here. Like, this house is not the same. I mean, last night was traumatic. Last night was...
The following day, on August 14th, as the Colorado Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered missing alert, Chris appeared on Denver's ABC affiliate and made a heartfelt plea for his family's return. He begs Shanann, Bella, and Celeste to come back, expressing his desperate need to see them again. Chris emphasizes that his house felt incomplete without them and urges anyone who may have them to bring them back. On August 15th, the FBI joined the search efforts for Shanann and her daughters. Chris undergoes a polygraph test, but fails it. He then confessed to his father Ronnie, and later to officials, that he killed Shanann. However, he deceitfully blamed Shanann for smothering their daughters as the reason for his horrifying actions. On August 16th, the bodies of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste are discovered at the location where Chris had been working. On the same day, Chris appeared in Weld County Court for a bond hearing, but is denied bail. Kessinger, Chris's former mistress, spoke to the police the same day and expressed her belief that Chris had been mentally unstable for a long time, even before their relationship began. She stated, "I genuinely think he was losing his mind before he met me." A week later, on August 21st, Chris was formally charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. In addition to those charges, he faced 2 more first-degree charges, specifically for victims who were 12 years old or younger. He is also charged with unlawfully terminating a pregnancy and tampering with the bodies, making a total of 9 charges against him. On September 1st, a funeral was held for Shanann and her daughters in Pinehurst, North Carolina. The ceremony took place at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church and lasted for about 90 minutes. The service began with a rendition of Amazing Grace, and notably, Chris is never mentioned during the proceedings. The priest read a statement from Shanann's father, Frank Zuchek, expressing his love for his daughter and referring to her as his little girl. On November 6th, Chris appeared in court and pleads guilty to all 9 charges against him. Shanann's family requested that the death penalty not be pursued in his case. On November 19th, Chris received his sentence. Judge Marcelo Kopkov described the murders as one of the most brutal and inhumane crimes he has ever encountered. Chris is handed 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole, along with additional years of imprisonment for unlawfully terminating Shanann's pregnancy and disposing of his family's bodies. In response to the tragedy, Shanann's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Chris. Due to concerns for his safety, Chris is transferred from Colorado to the Dodge Correctional Facility in Waupun, Wisconsin on December 3rd. Then on February 18, 2019, during a 5-hour interview conducted from prison, Chris provided a detailed explanation of how he killed his daughters.
What they say specifically?
It was more of like, what are you doing to mommy?
He confessed to ending their lives and disposing of their bodies. Chris admitted to an overwhelming rage and losing control, describing the moment as the pinnacle of anger. He even revealed that his older daughter, Bella, questioned if he would do the same to her as he did to her sister. He further acknowledged that his 4-year-old daughter attempted to resist his actions by fighting back. On November 18, 2019, nearly a year after Shanann's parents initiated the civil lawsuit, a judge in Weld County, Judge Todd Taylor, decided that Chris is obligated to pay them $6 million. The amount is divided into $3 million for each death and an additional $3 million for the emotional suffering caused. The sum will continue to accumulate with an 8% interest rate. Although it's improbable that Shanann's parents will actually receive the money, this ruling ensured that Chris cannot benefit financially from the horrific murders in any manner.